WrestleMania 30 is often considered one of the best and most important WrestleManias of the modern age. However, this WrestleMania took place over 10 years ago, so it's time for me to go back and analyze, was WrestleMania 30 really this incredible? One thing I often forget is the levels of fan service that WWE would have at times at the beginning of WrestleMania, where they would just bring somebody out to kind of get the crowd flowing. So in this case, it was WrestleMania 30, so we were going to get icons, and we got Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold, and The Rock. Now, you don't have to love everything about this. You don't have to love fan service. You don't have to love all the people involved. Let's be honest here, Hulk Hogan is an extremely controversial person in WWE history and outside of WWE. But let's put the point here that this was an insanely iconic moment, having three massive stars of their time in the ring at one point during this big decade celebration of WrestleMania. And yes, it was also hilarious when Hulk Hogan came out, called it the Silver Dome, despite the fact that they were in the Superdome, and then The Rock and Stone Cold come out and just mess around with him saying, "We are in the Superdome," kind of just, lighthearted fun. All jokes aside, this was an iconic moment to start WrestleMania 30. This would lead into the opening match of the night, which was Triple H versus Daniel Bryan, and the importance of this was the winner of this match would be added to the WWE World Heavyweight Championship match later tonight between Randy Orton and Batista. So we would either get a 3 out of 4 members of Evolution's triple threat, or maybe we could have Daniel Bryan finish his story. Sorry, I was a little 10 years early for that. One of the coolest things here was Triple H's entrance when he comes out with the crown and the throne, and one of the Easter eggs that I'm pretty sure all WWE fans know nowadays is that the 3 women that came out with him were Alexa Bliss, Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moné, and Charlotte Flair. But anyways, Triple H versus Daniel Bryan was incredible. How Triple H was able to do this in his mid-40s, amazing. However, I also think it's nearly impossible for Daniel Bryan to have a bad match. The fans were heavily invested in the match every time Daniel Bryan did something. This is further proof of just the impact that a crowd can have on this match. Daniel Bryan truly felt like the hero to the fans, stopping this evil authority. After Daniel Bryan had won, there was a post-match attack from Triple H, further injuring Daniel Bryan's arm/shoulder, and this legitimately actually gave me the fear when I was younger that they were going to use this as the excuse for Daniel Bryan to not win later, and they were just going to say, oh, but he did have a WrestleMania match win, he did have a WrestleMania moment, he beat the King of Kings, Triple H. And with the way WWE booked at the time, that wouldn't be the craziest thought in my head. But this obviously was not the case, and thank God it wasn't. Next match was a short, very short, but solidly effective one, as The Shield, aka Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, took on the team of the Road Dogg, Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws, and Kane, as they represented Team Authority. This match was extremely short. Legitimately, me saying their names was probably just as long as the match at this point. Roman Reigns was the clear MVP of this match, hitting a double spear on both members of the New Age Outlaws, and then also hitting a double powerbomb, obviously with the help of Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose to get them both up there, but hitting a double powerbomb and the win. It was a very short but effective match, and once again, knowing what these men would become in the future, meaning Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns, the future of this company was in great hands. After this was the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, which is pretty much always just a cluster of mayhem. It was packed with stars such as Brad Maddox and Heath Slater. No, but in all seriousness, the Battle Royal was fine. I would even say it was good, and it had some pretty fun moments. The criticisms with the Andre the Giant Battle Royal are always going to remain, but overall this was probably the best, if not one of the best, Andre the Giant Battle Royals ever. It just always sucks to see so many stars get left off the WrestleMania card, have nothing to do, and just be thrown into a Battle Royal where they maybe get 10 to 15 seconds to shine. I mean, it hurts me to watch Rey Mysterio be in this, but I guess overall it's better to be on the card than not on it at all. Whether it's being in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal or just being in some sort of segment, it's definitely better than nothing. But the finish of this match was the best part, as Cesaro legitimately lifts up the Big Show in one of the most impressive feats of strength we have ever seen, throwing him over the top rope and winning the whole thing. Cesaro was realistically probably the best winner of the Andre the Giant Battle Royal's history. I just wish it led to some sort of world title opportunity versus just getting a trophy, celebrating for a little bit, and then WWE basically forgetting it ever happened. Legitimately, one of the biggest misses in WWE history was not pushing this man to the moon. Next up was one of the most anticipated matches on the card, which was John Cena versus one of the most compelling and interesting characters in the WWE, Bray Wyatt. Rest in peace. At this point, WWE fans were more mixed on who they wanted to win this match, but most of them generally rooted for Wyatt. The video package for this was incredible, with Legacy by Eminem being the song of choice, which made perfect sense because Wyatt's goal was to destroy Cena's legacy by having him give in to his inner demons. The psychological battle that Bray Wyatt put John Cena through in this match was incredible, with Cena legitimately looking like he was losing his mind throughout the match and Wyatt laughing hysterical after Cena would attack him. While the match was generally a slower paced one, this is exactly why I enjoy entertainment just as much as I enjoy wrestling. I felt like I was watching a movie with the mental battle that Cena was fighting, and the heel work of Bray Wyatt was very similar to like a horror movie villain bringing out the inner monster of our hero. Not to mention how awesome it was to see Wyatt conducting the crowd to sing, "He's got the whole world in his hands." And while I still think WWE picked the wrong winner by choosing John Cena to beat Bray Wyatt, I would do it all over again if it means getting the insane, wacky, and fun Firefly Funhouse match, because they used John Cena's victory as a crucial part of the story and part of the reason that The Fiend was created. Rest in peace to one of the most creative and inspiring individuals in all of WWE history. Now, if you thought the ending of last match was controversial, this one was in a different league. The Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar was one of the hardest matches for us WWE fans to watch. Not only did it show us the mortality of one of our biggest heroes as we saw the Undertaker's 21-0 streak at WrestleMania come to an end, we learned that the Undertaker was legitimately not fully cognizant throughout the whole match, and Brock Lesnar had to somewhat carry him through it. It was a day we never thought would happen, and Paul Heyman's expression told the whole story. The day we saw the Undertaker become human. He really struggled to get through the match, and his age was clearly showing, and rightfully so. He was nearly 50 at the time and shouldn't have to put on a 25-minute clinic at his age. The match itself was not terrible, but it was just very hard to watch, especially now, knowing what we know about The Undertaker basically being concussed throughout the match. And the ending was certainly controversial, as many at the time believed Brock Lesnar should not have been the one to break The Undertaker's streak. There were many individuals who were much better candidates at the time to break The Undertaker's streak. Some of them included CM Punk and Bray Wyatt, and also the only other man to beat The Undertaker at WrestleMania, Roman Reigns. And I think it's been said pretty recently that The Undertaker actually wanted Roman Reigns to be the one to break the streak. This would have been the perfect moment for Roman Reigns to officially become a heel after beating The Undertaker at WrestleMania. And in the end of the day, it will always be tough to watch your heroes fall right in front of your very eyes. Next up was the Vicky Guerrero Invitational Divas Championship match, which pinned AJ Lee against 13 other women on the roster, with the winner becoming the Divas Champion. And honestly, this match was supposed to be an overwhelming amount of, superstars thrown in there, so it makes it look like AJ's not gonna win. And let's be honest here, everybody knew if you're gonna stack the odds that crazy against one person, they're gonna win. In what was pinned as AJ versus the World, she made Naomi tap out to the Black Widow, where she retained her Divas Championship. The really upsetting thing about this is this match legitimately is close to 7 minutes long and had 14 total people in the match. AJ Lee was so incredibly talented, and she was the best Divas champion in the world at that point, and it's very upsetting to know that at this point WWE still thought of women's wrestling as, throw it into one match on the card with 14 women and make it last 7 minutes. So it is very upsetting to see that, and it's very upsetting to know that we probably won't see AJ in the modern era of WWE, where it feels like women's matches are finally being given the time and you're seeing them outperform everybody's expectations and more. But yes, I do want to give this a chance as a shout out AJ Lee, who was an unbelievable performer, and we really do miss her in the ring. Now it was finally time for the main event, as Daniel Bryan would take on Batista and Randy Orton for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Now, watching this match back, the funniest part is just the unanimous boos when Batista did literally anything. Even Randy Orton was occasionally getting some cheers despite it being overwhelmingly Daniel Bryan, but legitimately anytime Batista did anything, boos just reigned rampant throughout the arena. The match was outstanding, the best on the show in my opinion, and it did a great job of portraying Daniel Bryan as literally the most underdog of all underdogs. Triple H came out with his own crooked referee and Scott Armstrong to try and give the championship to Batista, but even then, Bryan kicked out of the Batista bomb. Batista and Randy Orton would even start working together to try and take out Daniel Bryan, but even a Batista bomb into an RKO through the announce table wasn't enough to keep Bryan down, who refused the stretcher and medical help. After a few close finishes and the crowd chanting, "This is awesome," Daniel Bryan would hit a running knee and force Batista to tap out to the S-Lock, winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. In the main event of a milestone WrestleMania 30, the Miracle Kid Daniel Bryan beat the odds that were stacked against him, upheaved the authority, and capitalized to win the most prestigious title on the grandest stage of them all. This match and story was so good that WWE used a very similar formula 10 years later in the main event of WrestleMania 40, having Cody Rhodes beat the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns to end his historic title reign by having the odds stacked against Cody, but managing to find a way to beat those odds. Now, I understand this is also just a very basic babyface underdog beating overwhelming heel, but these moments were just more special. So after completing my rewatch of WrestleMania 30, would I say it was incredible? Well, maybe. While it had some incredible high highs, it also had some pretty low lows, including certain winners that I feel like shouldn't have won matches, and the treatment of the women's superstars was atrocious. But with the dominance of the Shield, who ran WWE for the next decade, Daniel Bryan finally overcoming the odds to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, maybe even the ending of the streak which sent shivers down the spines of WWE fans across the globe, it's impossible to not recognize this as one of the most iconic WrestleManias ever, if not the most iconic. So let me know down below what event I should rewatch and cover next. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.